What up, folks? I'm ultrazillatoys, and today I have a review of the Titanic Creations GORGO. That's right, my zillions, from the classic British Kaiju movie. We have GORGO here, and I want to thank Titanic Creations and Dope Pope for sending this over for a review. This is very, very cool of you guys, so thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Loved the film growing up. Watched it in the last few years with ultrazillatoys Jr., who you heard on the unboxing, who thought it looked pretty cool. So hey, you got thumbs up from ultrazillatoys Jr. already. This packaging is very interesting. It is all plastic, which is very different, and then you got GORGO printed all on here, and it continues, very classic looking, and then it goes into this awesome Matt Frank illustration of GORGO. Very, very nicely done. I do like it. I'm guessing he illustrated all the stuff on the sides because it looks like it's all one piece. It's very cool. It's a very interesting idea. I do like it. My packaging gets a little bit messed up because I guess there's a clear film over everything here and started to peel back, but not a big deal. I really don't care about that much at all. Care about the figure inside. So without any further ado, let's get to this review. So here's GORGO and Mama out of the package. And before we get into the review proper, I just want to clarify one thing that, I said this was sent over for a review, but it was actually really sent over as a thank you for my promotion of this by Dope Pope and Titanic. So that's really cool, and I really, really appreciate that. Now, that all said, it's made me very conflicted on how to sort of approach this review, but I can't really approach it any other way than, my normal honest review. And the thing I really wanted to talk about was the thing that kind of held me back at the beginning, like I mentioned, was, I don't know if I mentioned actually, the cost of the set being at $100 when it was being crowdfunded held me back because I just didn't have it at the time. I had a really, really slow first half of the year work-wise, so I was really, really picky on what I was pre-ordering. And I'll be honest, guys, when I did see this, even though I thought the sculpt was excellent, there was aspects of it that, in total, with everything it was included, I still feel like the price was a little bit high. And, now that I have it in hand and I feel the materials and, judge all of the accessories, I still feel like the price was a little bit high. And I'm trying to be very honest here because, anything I say hopefully would help Titanic in the future when it comes to pricing. Now, that said, I don't know what went into the licensing of this. I don't know if GORGO is in the public domain. I don't know if there was licensing fee that they had to pay. That factors in there. What also factors in this, I talk about this a lot, and I obviously give, Titanic the benefit of the doubt here with this, is that, their production run, which wasn't that high, is going to factor into how much this costs at the factory. So those factors I totally understand, and it could have raised the prices, but end of the day, I couldn't afford it at the price it was at based on what I had seen, even though, where are you getting a GORGO articulated figure? I was so conflicted at that time because of it too, because I really wanted it as a big fan of GORGO. So, those factors are all in there, and also this is Titanic's first articulated figure out of the gate. They've done a bunch of other stuff, but, more vinyl type figures. This was their first articulated figure, so there's going to be, a learning curve that goes into that. But, end of the day, though, this is a pretty fantastic figure. So let's get to the review proper. And let's bring it in now because it is really cool. The sculpt is really nice. Again, sculpted by Dope Pope, and it looks amazing. That's for sure. I do like it.
I do think some aspects of the paint are on the level of, say, Hammond Collection, which isn't a bad thing. Um, those are professionally done. So I would say that's a good thing. If you're, thinking that's me talking about cost deal, it really isn't. It's actually a compliment. I think Hammond Collection figures are very well painted, but I feel like that's where this is at. And it's this yellow that kind of reminds me of it, and the teeth kind of remind me of Hammond Collection. Um, the yellow is pretty good. It's solid. I do have one little scratch mark there, but it really blends in. The back has a nice black wash to it, which is cool. Really like that. And this sculpt is beautiful on the back. Look at that. It's pretty excellent. The tail looks really good. The bottom of the feet are sculpted out. That's pretty nice. Little Titanic Creations logo there. That looks real good. GORGO there. Nice touches. You got purples in the nails, which looks really good. The legs look very nice. There's a little bit of wash there. Beautiful sculpt throughout. I really, really like it. Oh, so this is, one of the negatives. The ends of the tail. The end of the tail. Just this one last segment keeps falling out on me. So it's a bit of a bummer, but getting back to the sculpt for now and the paint, it looks good. Again, you get that little purple, but I feel like there's a little purple within like the arms and stuff. I'm not sure, like maybe it's my lighting catching the purple of the nails and like shooting it backwards at me, but I do feel like there's a little purple going on. Really nice sculpt on the arms. Love the hands. Chest, nicely sculpted. Beautiful, beautifully done. Head sculpt is excellent. Love the ears, man. Back of the head, top of the head. The eyes are in a dark red, and that looks very, very good. Snout looks awesome. Love the nose. Inside of the mouth looks pretty good. The teeth, just done in that, kind of Hammond Collection looking color. That's fine. I would say it's somewhere between, overall, paint-wise, between what Hammond Collection does and some of those like NECA Kongs and stuff, NECA Godzillas even. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. There's like things that remind me of the way both of those lines were done and are done. But overall, man, this sculpt is very good. And the paint, I like the paint. I'm trying to make sure you understand that I do like the paint. I'm just comparing it to some other things we've seen out there. And the material here does remind me of a NECA in that way. I guess like a Haya as well. They're very similar material-wise, NECA and Haya. So yeah, that's where I feel the realm of this is within that, plastic-wise feel to it. But that's good. I really like that. So it's a really, really good looking Gorgo. Proportions, I don't know, look pretty good. We actually watched the movie last week while I was nice and sick. Still not 100% here. Watched the movie, and I want to refresh myself with this. I still like that movie. I think it's cool. And yeah, I think the sculpt is pretty good. Proportions might be a tad off on this, but it's hard to gauge completely. Like, I feel like something here, and I think it's because of the way the top part of this sits on the bottom. I feel like it's a little scrunched in. Like, I feel like that joint, and it is a ball joint inside, if you cared to wonder. I feel like this ball joint could have been a little bit longer. So if somebody wants to, there is enough room here, I feel like, for a tad of bigger of a ball joint. And then look at that, just sitting at the top here. I mean, yeah, the sculpt gets broken up a little bit, but I feel like the proportions look a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if you get a tall, just slightly taller ball joint in there, I think it would work better. We'll talk about articulation in a second, but for now, you know, that's where we're at. Looks wise, it's really good. If not a little bit squat in the middle, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's a thing, but I feel like it's a thing. But that, you know, and that's just from watching the movie again just last week. But overall, I think it's pretty fantastic. So let's talk about that articulation. The mouth opens, the head is on a ball joint. The neck is on a, I'm going to say a ball joint as well, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Oh, I just... You bust it open once, and then it pops over and over again. Anywho, this opened up again, so let's talk about this. This is a small ball joint, so you're not getting a ton of motion. Customizers, you know what to do with this. Cut a little bit in here, let this move forward and back. Cut a little bit in there, and you'll get maybe on the sides, and you get more range of motion out of that. Should be an easy customization for people. If you've done it already and it worked out, let me know. Because, there you go. Because I think that would work. Because right now, you're really just getting a swivel out of it because there's no clearance there at all. So, you know, for future reference, Titanic, make that ball joint a little bit bigger and make the cuts, make it like some sort of cuts in there so you get some better range of motion in there. There's really none. It's kind of a waste of a ball joint, you know, because you're not really getting that much out of it. Then you got a hinge swivel at the shoulder, hinge swivel at the elbow, hinge swivel at the wrists. The legs, I believe, are on ball joints at the hips. Not really getting much of a split, but it works. A little bit loose. Hinge swivel at the knee. Same thing at the ankles. You can get a little bit of rocker out of it depending on how you position the joint. You know, the joint does spin around, so if you're, you know, crafty, you move around one way, and then you can get the ankle to rock, and you're not really messing around with the look at all. And then you have toe hinges, which on mine at least tend to open up a little bit. So, but if you squeeze it closed, it gets tighter. But, you know, it'll default outwards again a little bit. So it's a cool idea. I like it. But, you know, I think the material, the plastic material there is just kind of opening up a little bit. Then you have a really nicely articulated tail. You did see that it pops out, this last joint on me, but that's the only one that seems to pop out on me. The rest is really, really nicely articulated. And I have to say, this is SH Monstar Arts level of articulation for the tail. And because of all that, it tends to sound and feel like SH Monstar Arts, even though I know the material is different. You know, the multiple segments will do that. It will give it that feel. So that is pretty cool. I do appreciate that a lot. Oh, for accessories, of course, we get GORGO. Gotta get GORGO. And this guy looks absolutely incredible. Look at that. For a little figure, this, focus, looks amazing. Middle's got that yellow again. A little bit of paint on the nails. The back has the wash. All the way down to the tail. The legs are painted. Look at this little thing. This is excellent. This is an excellent baby. So I really like that a lot. I think that looks fantastic. I think the proportions are perfect. Like scaling wise, I think it's, you know, again, having just watched the movie once more, I think you get that. Oh, you know what? This kind of illustrates what I'm talking about. See that? Look at how long the body is on GORGO compared to Mama here. And it is because of the way they cut the articulation here. It makes it feel a little squat in the middle. So that's interesting. They do have a 30 centimeter GORGO about to hit pre-orders. I would check that out because I've seen like Dope Pope's proto and it looks incredible. Yeah, I mean, and that's not like a articulated figure, so that won't have this problem. But yeah, that's perfectly illustrated. Exactly what I was talking about. Interesting, huh? Then we get this a little sub. I guess it's like a bell sub. What do they call these things? No paint on it, but it's a cool little accessory. And, you know, I couldn't remember what it was during the unboxing at all because I hadn't seen the movie in a long time. But then again, I watched it. Like, oh, yeah, that's the little thing that Captain Mike goes in and goes down on it. And it just looks like a cup of coffee for Mama here. She's going to need it. You know, she's going to need her coffee. So, yeah, a little coffee. Why not, right? A little cup of coffee for Mama. She likes that. Then you get 3 planes, which I'm gonna say I don't really like too much. Nothing special here. Kind of like Playmates level of detail there for that. You know, like the ones we've gotten with some of the GVK stuff. And then you get this base, which is odd the way it's done. Like you would figure the holes would be on this side. And then you would put these bendy wires in. Let's see if you know what? Let me get this all set. And here are the planes all set up. And I'm not sure if I like this system. Like I feel like this base could have been wider, something because it tips over a lot, depending on how you move these guys around. And I don't know. It's okay if you need planes in your thing, and you could kind of put them around GORGO, well, Agra. Yeah, but I feel like the system could have been better. It's not my favorite thing, but what I really do like is Big Ben. This is really, really nice. I love the gold. I think it looks great. The sculpt is excellent. The clock faces look really good. There's like some scratches on them too, like GORGO's been like. Agra's been like scratching at it, about to knock it down. Really nice. Up top here, you got a nice kind of like purplish color, which is cool. This, be careful about. It's a very soft plastic, so I'd be afraid of this busting off. But it works, man. This is really, really nice. And then it has a break apart feel. Yeah, this is cool. I love how the brake looks. Yeah, you get this little pillar on the inside, but that's not a big deal. I don't really mind that because I'd rather this be nice and solid like this. You have some break apart buildings that are like impossible to keep together. So rather this, Photoshop it out if you want in your figure photography. But this works for me, and this is how it scales, and that's pretty good. I do like that. I think it's a really nice piece. Last but not least, we get an alternate head sculpt. It's pretty much the same head sculpt, but with like glow eyes, red glow eyes. By itself, though, I do like these eyes better because it's a nice brighter red. So I think this pops more. So I think I'd keep these on anyway. But other than that, I think it's the same exact head, right? Am I wrong about that? But I'm not really seeing much else that's different here. A little bit of a different paint application here and there. Like I see a little more black on the eye ridge there compared to this one. But, that's whatevs. But I do like this one. I think it's pretty good. But does it glow? Well, sort of. It's glowing red. I mean, there's natural light coming in from outside. So, can't really do much about it, but lights all shut off. You do see the red, so that's not terrible. Yeah, it works, and I do like these brighter eyes. So yeah, that's fine for me. And for your size comparison, let's start out with a couple of robots with the Super Robot Chogokin Great Mazinger in Shogun colors, and the Lucky Cat Megazord. And it's a 60s party with the NECA 64 and 62, and I feel like these guys are related. Like they feel like they're in the same continuity here. Now GORGO is a little bit small for them, but I don't know. I would feel like Godzilla would be bigger anyway, right? Not 100% sure, but your mileage is going to vary on how you like that scaling on that, but I don't know. I don't hate it. I really don't. Like I feel like it feels kind of right there. Switching it over to SH Monstar Arts and a couple of Showa Godzillas here. I don't know. These don't feel as right to me. You know what I'm saying? Proportionally, they just feel very, very, very different. Granted, I don't know what they were doing with this figure. It's so small. But yeah, these, like, even this as a regular Monstar Arts just feels not in the same family as that. Here it is with a couple of Super 7s, obviously not in this scale. Here it is with a Haya Godzilla and the aforementioned Mecha Kong. Obviously it doesn't fit there. Maybe it could work there. Going back to Showa era stuff, here is Gamera and Gauss from Revoltech. Now the Revoltechs are a little bit small for it. And just because I mentioned the line, here is a couple of Hammond Collection figures. And I do like how they look together. There is something about the paint on them that reminds me of each other. And my final thoughts, honestly, this is a really, really nice set. It looks really great. I love it. I love the sculpt. I love the paint. I love Little Gorgo. I love Mama. I do have a couple of, like, visual issues. Like, the way it's cut in the middle and the articulation in the middle could have been done a little bit better, but it's really good. I love the big band accessory. I don't love the planes at all. I don't think those came out good. The little sub looks fine for what it is. And it's a neat little accessory. I don't think you needed 2 heads for this. The one head with the brighter red eyes I think was the way to go. Especially because they're the same, so I don't think you needed an extra head for this. It's neat to have it, but, the one does the job. Like I started out this video, I will say that I feel like, the cost was a little bit high on this. Now, I didn't pay anything, and I am very, very thankful, guys, because, I really did want this, but the cost did, stop me from getting it at the time because I just wasn't making a ton of money earlier this year. Work was real slow, and, I couldn't put in for it at that time. So, whether or not the cost works out because of, factors like licensing, I don't know how that went, and things of that nature. And, being a smaller production run is going to make the cost a little bit higher. So I understand all that. So yeah, don't worry about that. I totally get it. But if there is a way next time you could make this a little bit cheaper, because the things that I compared it to, I feel like are a little bit cheaper. I think it would go over like a lot more. And at this point, I think it really does go over well anyway. You did great. You should be really proud of this. It's a really cool figure. As a fan, an old fan of the movie, it's just awesome to have a GORGO figure. So, end of the day, that's really, the most important part. It definitely makes me happy on that level to finally have a GORGO figure. And there you go. Thanks again to Dope Pope and Titanic for sending it over. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to sub yourself for daily content and let me help you diversify your collection. Till next time, peace out.